Good evening, and welcome to Feinstein's 54 Below. At this time, we'd like to remind you to please silence your cell phones and that the use of flash photography is strictly prohibited. Thank you.
A 5, 6, 7, 8.
And now, please welcome to the stage, David Sabella.
Come on, babe, why don't we paint the town? And all that jazz, I'm gonna rouge my knees, roll my stockings down. And all that jazz, start the car, I know a whoopee spot where the gin is cold but the piano's hot. It's just a noisy hall where there's a nightly brawl and all that jazz. Hi, everybody. Welcome. Thank you for being here. Thank you all for getting your vaccines so we could be here. Thank you for coming tonight and helping me celebrate the music of John Kander and Fred Ebb and the 25th anniversary of Broadway's longest-running American musical, Chicago. Yeah. If that's not cause for celebration, I don't know what is. And life keeps happening every day. Say yes. When opportunity comes your way, you can't start wondering what to say. You'll never win if you never play. Say yes. My first contact with this show was the 1975 cast album with Cheetah Rivera, Gwen Verdon, and Michael O'Hawkey as Mary Sunshine. The minute I heard Michael sing a little bit of good, I thought, yes! There's mink and marigold right outside, and long white Cadillacs you can ride, but nothing's gained if there's nothing tried. Say yes! I knew I would play that part. So from that moment on, whenever I prayed, which wasn't often, but still, whenever I prayed, I would end my prayers like this, and I swear to God, this is true, right? Please, God, why doesn't someone revive Chicago? Don't say why, say why not? What lies beyond what is not. So what? Say yes, yes, yes I will, yes I can, yes I'd love to do such and such, yes of course, yes how nice, yes I'd happily, thank you very much, yes, oh yes. And then it happened. City Center Encore put Chicago on their 1995-96 season, and I got an audition. Every high-voiced Broadway boy was there. Sam Harris was there. Billy Porter was there in a yellow Hawaiian print shirt with big red hibiscus flowers and red 4-inch CFM pumps. Don't say why, say why not? What lies beyond what is not. So what? Say yes. Now, I could hear everybody through the door. Sam Harris, amazing. Billy Porter, amazing. Billy Porter's rendition of A Little Bit of Good was like a cross between Effie from Dreamgirls and the Acid Queen from Tommy. But I had been around the block a few times as a male soprano. I had toured all over Europe in opera houses and concert halls as a male soprano. I had just won the Luciano Pavarotti International Voice Competition as a male soprano. Thank you. So I was confident. Plus, I knew this role. She was a grande dame, a former opera diva turned gossip columnist, a cross between Beverly Sills and Liz Smith. Yes, I'll walk. Yes, I'll talk. Yes, I'll take a sip. Yes, I'll touch. Yes, of course. Yes, how nice. Yes, I'll fly. And yes, I'll dare. And yes, I'll happily. Thank you very much. Yes. Oh, yes. I walked in a suit. I turned my back to the table and sang the first 3 trills upstage. It was risky, I know, but I had dreamed about this moment for years. And when I turned around on the high note of the last trill, I saw director Walter Bobby's face. Yes! You can't look back on a chance that's lost. Say yes. The dice mean nothing unless they're tossed. The throw is usually worth the cost. The hope of summer denies the frost. Say yes. And by the time I got home, there was a message on my answering machine. Remember answering machines? You actually had to go home to check? Yeah. Well, it said, and I quote, "Hello, is this the home of Mary Sunshine? Well, we think it is, because we'd like to offer you the part." Yes, I'll go. Yes, I'll be. Yes, I am. Oh, yes. 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 Thank you. Thank you so much. Well, that's how it started, for me at least. And it just got more and more amazing from there. Picture it. First day rehearsal, City Center Encores, 9 a.m. in the morning. I walk through the door, and who's the first person I see? Joel Grey, Anne Reinking, Bebe Neuwirth, James Norton, Marsha Lewis. This is a room full of stars. Somebody pinch me. I'm in this room. I'm actually a part of this. And then Anne Reinking comes up to me and says, "It is so nice to meet you. I don't know how you do what you do." Anne Reinking. She could kick her own face. So, after introductions, first table read. I'm thinking, we're not going to sing. Right? Nobody sings at 9 a.m. in the morning, right? So Rob Fisher plays the overture right into all that jazz. And Bebe Neuwirth sings full out. Well, at that moment, you could see everybody around the table just kind of sit up, take a swig of coffee, and strap in, because the bar had just been set. And for the next 2 weeks, it was, come on, let's have some fun. You show me yours, I'll show you mine. Come on, top that. And someone who always rose to that occasion every single day was Marcia Lewis. Got a little motto, always sees me through. When you're good to mama, mama's good to you. There's a lot of favors I'm prepared to do. You do one for mama, she'll do one for you. They say that life is tit for tat, well, that's the way I live. So I deserve a lot of tat for what I got to give. Don't you know that this hand washes that one too? When you're good to mama, mama's good to you. Marcia Lewis was a force to be reckoned with. She taught me a lot. She taught me how to survive a Broadway schedule. She even took me to my first sushi dinner between shows, which I now love. And Marcia Lewis may single-handedly be responsible for Chicago coming to Broadway at all. You see, at the time of the City Center production, Marcia was already on Broadway in Grease, produced by Fran and Barry Weissler. So the way Marcia told me the story, the Weisslers were not exactly thrilled with the idea of letting one of their stars out of their hit Broadway show to go do this little weekend experiment. But Marcia was determined. Mama Morton was one of her favorite roles, too. She promised them, I won't miss a single performance in rehearsal, and when I do have to be out, I will find someone that you already know and love to cover for me. And with that, they said yes. And Marcia Lewis bought Fran and Barry Weissler 2 tickets to opening night at City Center, and the rest, as they say, is history. If you want my gravy, pepper my ragu, spice it up for mama, she'll get hot for you. Marcia was also very well known in the cabaret and club scene for a song that I have never heard anyone else sing before or since. And I would like to sing it for you now as a tribute to her. For years I reigned in Fairy Dell, Chelsea. I waved my wand, I waved it well. If I can't do all I did, I'm satisfied because I'd sooner be a has-been than I would a never was. Nobody loves a fairy over 40. Nobody loves a fairy when he's old. He may still have a magic power, but that is not enough. They like their bit of magic from a younger bit of stuff. When once your silver star has lost its glitter, and your tinsel looks like rust instead of gold, your fairy days are ending when your wand has started bending. No one loves a fairy when he's old. I remember my youth. My wand would rise at the slightest provocation. All the little fairy boys would ask me for a stroll. But nowadays, more often than not, I'm mistaken for a troll. When once you've lost your little fairy dimples, and the last spell that you cast was long ago, you stand there shouting, what-oh? But they all pass by your grotto. No one loves a fairy when he's old. So what's the one conclusion, if I may be so bold? No one loves a fairy when he's Thank you so much. You know, thank you. You know, we didn't know what would happen. You know, for us, it was supposed to be a fun weekend of 5 performances, right? Encores was in its infancy, right? William Ivy Long, our costume designer, asked all of us to look through our closets and our lingerie drawers for costumes, right? Against popular belief, I did not have my costume in my closet or my lingerie drawer. So I went down to 14th Street, and for less than 20 bucks, I bought this. This is what I wore as Mary Sunshine at City Center, and this is now why Mary Sunshine wears a lovely, stylish pantsuit. God, I wish I bought a gown. Opening night, I will never forget. I was sitting in my dressing room on the 3rd floor, finishing my makeup, putting on my shoes, listening to the overture, listening to all that jazz, and right after all that jazz, my monitor breaks. Complete static. I'm thinking, well, it's an old building. Well, it'll clear up. Maybe it's a short in the wire, right? It'll clear up. Maybe somebody changed the channel. It'll clear up. A good minute later, it hadn't cleared up. And I thought, oh God, no. I gotta go downstairs and tell somebody that my monitor has broken, right? So I go downstairs. And while I'm walking downstairs, I realize it is not just my monitor, it is every monitor in the building. Now I'm in panic mode. So I get downstairs, I get backstage to stage left. I'm standing next to Joel Grey and Jimmy Naughton. And I realize he hasn't gone on for Funny Honey yet. Wait a minute. That's not the monitors. It was the audience. It was ovations, a rip-roaring, foot-stomping applause, and it overloaded the monitors. Right? Right? Yes? And Mitch is here. Mitch was there. Mitch was there. Yep. Yes. All right? And it went on and on for 6 minutes. Wow. Right? And after every number, it just got bigger and bigger, right? I mean, I got entrance applause. Really, okay? Who am I kidding? Everybody got entrance applause. Is everybody here? Is everybody ready? Hit it. I don't care about expensive things, cashmere coats, diamond rings. No, no, not me. All I care about is love.
That's what he's here for.
I don't care for wearing silk cravats, ruby studs, satin spats. Don't mean a thing. All I care about is love.
All he cares about is love.
Give me 2 eyes of blue, softly saying, I need you. Let me see her standing there and, honest mister, I'm a millionaire. I don't care for any fine attire Vanderbilt might admire. No, no, not me. All I care about is love.
All he cares about is love.
This song was sung in the show by James Naughton, who won a Tony Award for his portrayal as Billy Flynn. Yeah. I loved working with Jimmy Naughton. I mean, funny, witty, always a nice word to say. And the thing I really loved about Jimmy is that he was a little bit of a prankster. Every once in a while, every Sunday, Jimmy would replace the backstage large orange cooler full of water during intermission with an identical large orange backstage cooler full of vodka. Yeah, those were some fantastic second acts. I don't care for driving Packard cars or smoking long buck cigars. No, no, not me. All I care about is doing the guy in who's picking on you, twisting the wrist that's turning the screw. All I care about is love. Thank you. Thank you so much. You know, whenever I hear that song, like Sirius XM or whenever I hear that song, it gets me very excited, right? Because that was my cue to go on as Mary Sunshine, right? Now, Mary Sunshine, like all the other characters in Chicago, is based upon a real-life vaudevillian star of the day. Did you know that? Yeah. Roxy Hart is based on Sophie Tucker, Amos Hart after Bernie Williams, and Mary Sunshine is modeled after Julian Eltinge. Now, do you know Julian? You do? Oh my God, good. Julian Eltinge was a megastar at the turn of the 19th century. He starred in vaudeville and on Broadway. He starred in silent films and even a couple of talkies, right? He had his own cigar line. He had his own makeup line. He had a nationally published magazine. It is reported that in 1914, Julian Eltinge made $3,000 a week on Broadway. That would be $75,000 a week today. Yeah. He even had a Broadway theater named after him, and it still stands today. It is the home of the AMC Empire Movie Theater on 42nd Street. Yeah. Now, if you walk into that theater, you will notice that the original proscenium now ensconces the box office. And above the proscenium is a fresco of 3 women. Well, those 3 women are Julian Eltinge in his 3 most famous roles: The Fascinating Widow, The Crinoline Girl, and My Cousin Lucy. You see, Julian always played the male lead of his show, who for some reason had to get into costume and pretend to be, or actually be, the female lead of the show. And he went back and forth like this all night, changing costumes and changing voices. And that's what made him a megastar. And who wrote for this icon? Well, other icons. Irving Berlin wrote "Don't Take Your Boat to the Seashore" for Julian to sing in The Crinoline Girl. Julian himself co-wrote with Percy Wenrick "That Tempting Tango" to sing in The Fascinating Widow. And this nearly lost gem was written for Julian to sing in Cousin Lucy by none other than Jerome Kern. Now listen, it's a secret, don't repeat it. Don't you tell a soul, not a single soul. Among a lot of books, I found a book on looks, one that tells you what to do when eyes so true, gray or blue, smile on you. Now listen to the many, many, many strange things any little girl can do. With that, come hither, look in her eyes. That signifies I kind of like you. It each precious little dear at 16 starts out on her wild career of breaking a heart with that come hither look in her eyes. And when she sighs, I'm oh so lonely. Men fall like autumn leaves, but still each one believes the look that lies and lies and lies in those come hither. Thank you. Thank you. This song is We Both Reached for the Gun, and it's one of my favorite numbers in the whole show. I got choreographed by Ann Ranking, and I got to flirt with Jimmy Naughton. It was a win-win. Now, the highlight of any Broadway run, if it happens at all, is a presidential performance. And in our case, President Bill Clinton came to see the show. Now, this is no easy performance, right? Because basically it's the President of the United States of America, his family, entourage, and a billion Secret Service agents who are not laughing. They're not even looking at the... Right, they're not looking because they have a job to do, right? Then there's the general audience who stumbled into the theater on the night that it was being viewed by the President of the United States, his family, entourage, and a billion Secret Service agents. And they're not laughing either. They're looking at him. If he laughed, they laughed. Very strange. Now, the backstage show is completely different too, because the Secret Service start arriving about a week before the president sees the show. They scope out what is normal behavior. If you go running to a queue every night, they learn, okay, that was normal. If you run where you didn't run before, you're followed. Yeah, and let's face it, Roxy Hart shoots Fred Casely on stage with a gun, basically pointing into the audience. Yeah, the Secret Service did not like that. That gun had a very strong chain of custody every single night. Now, on the day of the performance, they do a complete security sweep. They do the front of house, they do the backstage, they do the dressing rooms. Well, when they got to my dressing room, that's when all hell broke loose. You see, John and Fred had given me a very special opening night gift with a little card that said, "We're glad we both reached for you," right? And it was sitting on my dressing room table, proudly on display, right? Well, when the Secret Service agent saw it, I was not prepared for his reaction. 5 men upstairs stat. What? What? It's a lighter. It's a lighter. Really, it was really a lighter. Okay? Okay, all right. It was this lighter. Don't reach for the... Whoever said that, I'm buying you a drink. Look, I'm gonna tell you the truth. All my life, I wanted to be on Broadway. And then I was. And not just any Broadway, Chicago on Broadway. You gotta remember, we were the Hamilton of the 90s. We were on the front page of the New York Times, not the front page of the arts and leisure section, the front page of the New York Times, above the fold. I couldn't dream any bigger than that. So what did I do when I reached my greatest dream? I stopped dreaming. I forgot to keep dreaming. And so I sat for a few years trying to figure out if what I was feeling was apathy or happiness. It's not easy for an actor. We're not used to being happy. Ooh, no, 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 we ain't. Oh, come on, David. Think big. Think big. Children. Having a family. That was my next big dream. Thank you. And so my husband and I set off on a course to adopt. And those were some of the most beautiful, blessed, horrible, devastating years of my life. Yes, we adopted 2 beautiful children. But the journey, the journey, well, life. Life is what you do while you're waiting to die. Life is how the time goes by. Life is where you wait while you're waiting to leave. Life is where you grin and grieve. Having if you're lucky, wanting if you're not, looking for the ruby underneath the rot, hungry for the pilaf in someone else's pot, but that's the only choice you've got. Irena was our first. A beautiful baby girl, just 10 months old. We arrived at the agency just to read the paperwork on the child, and after we read it, they said, "Would you like to meet the baby?" Sure. Okay, you guys go to lunch. We'll call the foster mom, see if she can bring the baby in for a visit. So we go to lunch. And we come back. And they bring the baby in. And she falls asleep on my chest. And while she's sleeping, they said, "Look, there was a little misunderstanding with the foster mom. She didn't realize you were just here to visit the baby. She brought the baby in with all of her belongings, said a tearful goodbye, and ran out the door. If you want, you could take her now." So I left that office at 5 p.m. with a baby in my arms thinking, they're letting me leave the building with a human. But that's the only choice you've got. Well, I immediately went to Kmart. I bought a crib, I bought bottles, I bought food, I bought wipes, I bought diapers. Diapers? How do you change a baby? Life is what you feel when you can't feel at all. Life is where you fly and fall. When it was time to expand our family, then along came a little baby boy, just 2 weeks old. They told us he didn't have a name, so we named him Joseph Reign, R-E-I-G-N. The woman who delivered him to our home stood over the crib and said, "Well, now your family is complete." And it was, for a while. A couple of months later, we found out he has a name, and he has family. And they can't take care of him, but they were not at all happy that he was placed with a two-daddy family. They petitioned for him to be removed, and he was. Running for the shelter, naked in the snow, learning that a tear drops anywhere you go, finding it's the mud that makes the roses grow, but that's the only choice. You know. Jaden came to us at 6 days old. He had a smile that could light up Manhattan, man. I used to carry him and the baby Bjorn 24/7. It was the only place he would fall asleep. Me and my baby, my dear little baby. Look at my baby and me. It was like heaven in 2.5 rooms. And then I found out. 7 months later, relatives that nobody knew about came to claim him, and within 24 hours, he was gone. Life is where you grin and grieve. Less than 3 weeks later, that damn social worker called again. I didn't think I could handle any more heartache, but she assured me this little baby girl named Faith was freed for adoption. But Faith's case was different. She was already almost 2 years old, so we had to do a series of visits. Day visits, overnight visits, weekend visits, so that she could get used to us. Well, I'm very happy to say that we were able to adopt her, and she's now 14 years old. And I'm not so sure she's used to me yet. Just a couple of months after that, Faith's mom had another baby, a boy that she named Christian. Well, to make a long story short, we were not able to adopt Christian. But he is in our family, our extended family. He's been with us on vacations, summers, weekends. He is now 12 years old, and he still calls me Daddy. In his adopted family, there is another little girl named Faith, and she is also 14 years old. And yes, it gets very confusing. Sometimes I have had all 4 of them at once, and when that happens, well, that's one great big world full of yes. Life is where you stand just before you are flat. Life is only that, mister. Life is simply that, sister. That and nothing more than that. Life is what you do while you're waiting to die. This is how the time goes by. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much. You know, being an adoptive parent, I have always told my children that they picked us. We didn't pick them. They picked us. Somewhere in the great unmanifested, they looked and said, this time around, I need to be there. Oh, wow. How am I going to get there? It's not going to be easy. Oh, I see. I have to enter here. And then I'm going to go through some stuff. But that's how I get there. And for the little boys who didn't stay with us, well, I am 100% sure that we helped them get to where they really needed to get to. When it all comes true, just the way you planned, it's funny, but the bells don't ring. It's a quiet thing. When you hold the world in your trembling hands, you'd think you'd hear a choir sing. It's a quiet thing. There are no exploding fireworks. Where's the roaring of the crowds? Maybe it's the strange new atmosphere way up here among the clouds. But I don't hear the drums. I don't hear the band. The sounds, I'm told, such moments bring. Happiness comes in on tiptoe. Well, what do you know? It's a quiet thing. A very quiet thing. Things are certainly different than those early days of adoption. Tom and I divorced. The kids are now practically full grown. Any empty nesters here in the house? Kids are gone already? Yeah, let's hear it, folks. I'm almost there. Starting to feel like it's time for me to step back into my own life. I won't need much, just my own space. A little time with my own thoughts in my own space. Some place to run, some place to hide, where there is no one else but me to meet inside. I love you more than I could ever say. I love you more and more and more with every passing day. Allow me light, a breath of air. Leave me the only thing I own we cannot share. Just leave me that, sweet loves of mine. Just leave me that, just my own space, and we'll be fine. Three musketeers who never say die are standing here this minute. Me, myself, and I. If life is a school, I'll pass every test. If life is a game, I'll play it the best. 'Cause I won't give in, and I'll never bend. And I am my own best friend. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you so much. So, one night after the show, John Kander came bursting into my dressing room. On the 3rd floor, no easy feat, okay? He said, David, Fred and I are writing a new musical, and I'm writing a role for you. Every time I think about this character, I hear your voice. Okay, Mr. Kander, when do I show up? Well, the show was The Visit. And the role was a blind eunuch. Can't make it up. But still, it was the greatest honor of my life. Now, The Visit had what you might call a limited run on Broadway. They didn't plan that, yeah. It had its problems, you know, the critics said it had its problems, and I always have one particular problem with a Kander and Ebb show. You see, there's the role that I'm really right for, and in this case, the role that was written for me. And then there's the role I really, really want, most of which have already been done by Cheetah Rivera. Yeah. Yeah. And a Kander and Ebb show wouldn't be a Kander and Ebb show without a witty, acerbic duet sung by two witty, acerbic women, right? Chicago has Class, right? Woman of the Year has The Grass is Always Greener. The Visit has You Know Me. But you don't know You Know Me because it was cut from the Broadway run. Luckily, I did the workshops and I have the music. So please help me welcome to the stage to sing this, like rarely, if you've heard this duet, you've heard me sing it, okay? Never and rarely done cut duet from The Visit. A dear, dear friend of mine for over 20 years, a celebrated Broadway veteran, a star in her own right, and recently one of Broadway's most artistic producers, Miss Jana Robbins. Hi, lovely.
Hi, honey. Thank you so much for that lovely introduction.
Oh, you're very welcome. Come.
Thank you so much. Are you all enjoying the show? I sure am, right? Okay, now I get to be up here.
I'm so happy. So happy. So all you really need to know about this duet is that we are the two witty, acerbic women. Typecasting, I know. And we have very strong opinions about her.
You gossip. You know me, I'm never mean. But that bitch parading around the station was the most revolting sight I've ever seen. But I'd rather cut my tongue out than say so.
You know me, I'm never vulgar. I employ the best of taste. But her wealth could only have come from a business that she runs below the waist. But I'd rather boil an acid than say so.
And as you would know, she is a Jewess. And her folks were never wed.
So who denied the whore's a bastard? But please, my dear, let it die right here. 'Cause you know me, I'm never vicious.
You know me, forever mild.
Who deny the wonderful reputation I've enjoyed since I was a little child.
But that bitch who's back among us
Pretending to be a lady,
is 50% a gypsy,
50% a Hebrew,
100% a bastard,
and 200% a whore. But hear me well, I won't tell not one word more. Ooh, ooh, you know me, I'm never nosy.
and my mouth is always shut.
But the men are treating her like a princess, while to me, she's only a little slut.
And I'm certain she's had a facelift.
Probably had a couple.
Surely she had her nose
I'd
bobbed.
swear that she had her hair dyed.
Certainly had an eye job.
Obviously a butt lift. Or her ass would be on the floor. But you know me, let's agree, not one word more. Gianna Robbins, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you. Oh, I died 1,000 deaths when they cut that from the show, let me tell you.
I
Gianna.
did when I had to learn it, but that's another story. Now,
Gianna,
What?
thank you so much for coming and joining me. I have to extend my deepest regrets because, as you may have read, we were to have another guest star, Miss Haley Robin. Haley,
I'm Robin.
I know, Haley Swindle, who is a dear friend of both of ours.
Absolutely.
And regrettably, through circumstances beyond her control, she's not able to be here.
And I wanted to sing a duet with her.
I know.
Too.
And we're not going to do it because we just did it.
Okay.
So in that case, would you mind giving us another number?
Well, thank you very much.
I'd be
and I
honored.
will.
Thank you. Gianna Robbins, folks.
Candor and Ebb, they wrote some magnificent. Oh, okay. Please do. They wrote some magnificent shows, and I was lucky enough to be in just one of them, and played Sally Bowles. But there was just many years ago. And just like David said, you know, there's always the role that you look at and you think, oh, you know, I would love to play that role. And that's the role of Fräulein Schneider. And especially what we have all just been through. I love her philosophy. You say 50 marks. I say 100 marks. Why should that stand in our way? As long as the room's to let, the 50 that I get is 50 more than I had yesterday. Yeah? When you're as old as I, Is anyone as old as I? And you'd be surprised. What difference does it make? An offer comes, thank you, David. You take. For the sun will rise and the moon will set, and learn how to settle for what you get. It'll all go on if you're here or not, so who cares? So what? So who cares? So what? When I was a girl, my summers were spent by the sea. So what? And I had a maid doing all of the housework, not me. So what? Now I scrub up the floor and I wash down the walls and I empty the chamber pot. If it ended that way, then it ended that way. And I shrug and I say, so what? For the sun will rise and the moon will set, and learn how to settle for what you get. It'll all go on if you're here or not, so who cares? So what? So who cares? So what? When I had a man, my figure was dumpy and fat. So what? Through all of our years, he was so disappointed in that. So what? Now I have what he missed, and my figure is trim, but he lies in a churchyard plot. If it wasn't to be that he ever would see the uncorseted me, so what? For the sun will rise and the moon will set, and learn how to settle for what you get. It'll all go on if you're here or not, so who cares? So what? So who cares? So what? So once I was rich, and now all my fortunes are gone. And love disappeared, and only the memory lives on. So what? If I lived through all that, and I've lived through all that, 15 marks doesn't mean a lot. If I like that you're here, and I like that you're here, Happy New Year, my dear, so what? For the sun will rise and the moon will set, and learn how to settle for what you get. It'll all go on if you're here or not, so who cares? So what? So who cares? So what? It will all go on. So who cares? So who cares? So who cares? So what? Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you. Mark Hartman, a fabulous band. And the biggest thank you to David for asking me to be here.
Let's hear it for Jana Robbins. Some of you may know that my brother, Ernie Sabella, who is joining us via live stream tonight. Hi, Ernie! Ernie was Joel Gray's first replacement as Amos Hart on Broadway. So I got to do the show with my brother for 2 years on Broadway and in Las Vegas. Yeah. Working with your brother for 2 years. You know how some people have these little annoying habits to get you down? Let's take Ernie. On my opening night on Broadway, sitting there in the audience, so nervous was Ernie for me that he gave himself a bloody nose. He got a bloody nose, yeah. Flash forward to Ernie's opening night as Amos Hart. And I got a bloody nose. I can't remember a thing. I completely blacked out. It wasn't until later when I was washing the blood off my costume I even knew what had happened. But then, as my brother sang his 11 o'clock number, I got to stand in the wings and watch a master class. If someone stood up in a crowd and raised his voice up way out loud and waved his arm and shook his leg, you'd notice him. If someone in the movie show yelled, "Fire in the second row! This whole place is a powder keg!" you'd notice him. And even without clucking like a hen, everyone gets noticed now and then. Unless, of course, that personage should be invisible, inconsequential. Me, Cellophane, Mr. Cellophane, should have been my name, Mr. Cellophane, 'cause you can look right through me, walk right by me, I never know I'm there. I tell ya, Cellophane, Mr. Cellophane, should have been my name, Mr. Cellophane, 'cause you can look right through me, walk right by me, I never know I'm there. Suppose you was a little cat residing in a person's flat who fed you fish and scratched your ear. You'd notice him. Suppose you was a woman wed and sleeping in a double bed beside one man for 7 years. You'd notice him. Our human beings made of more than air. With all that bulk, you're bound to see him there. Unless that human being next to you is unimportant, undistinguished. You know who. Should have been my name, Mr. Cellophane, 'cause you can look right through me, walk right by me, and never know I'm there. I tell ya, Cellophane, Mr. Cellophane, should have been my name, Mr. Cellophane, 'cause you can look right through me, walk right by me, and never know I'm there. Never even know. I'm there. Hope I didn't take up too much of your time. Thank you. I learned from the best, Mr. Ernie Sabella. Well, now I have to put my glasses on because now it's time for thank yous. First off, I want to really, really thank you all for getting vaccinated so we could do this. Thank you, good Lord. Really. Woo. I want to thank the owners at 54 Below, Mr. Tom Vertel, Richard Frankel, Steve Baruch, and Mike Ruth. Thank you so much for having me. I'm really honored to be here. I want to thank Amanda and Adam on lights and sound. Yes. And we have JK, who's your live streaming wizard. Thank you, JK. KJ. Sorry. Don't turn me off, KJ. Okay. I want to thank this amazingly quiet stealth wait staff. Okay? This is fun for me, but they actually carry heavy things. Okay? Thank you, guys. There are a few celebrities in our online audience that I have to acknowledge, and among them, Mr. John Kander. Thank you, John. And I've mentioned my brother Ernie already. My brother Ernie and his wife Cheryl, yes, are online. And they produced the online segment of today's performance, so thank you. And then there is someone else online that, when I say to you, without her, none of this would be possible. I met this woman when I was 18 years old. I walked into her vocal tech class. She heard me sing 2 arias. She said, "Do you have a voice teacher?" I said, "No, ma'am." She goes, "You do now." Miss Marie Traficante. In our house tonight, we also have some celebrities, members of the cast, of the current cast of Chicago, including Joseph London, Sharon Moore, and Lilias White. Is there anybody I missed? I don't know who's here. Steve Singer on drums, yes. And I think Allison is here. Are you here? Is Allison here? Okay, no, forget it. She's lovely, but okay. And I don't have another list. If there's more celebrities here, I'm sorry, I don't know. I want to thank all of my friends from the Players Club. Thank you. If you don't know about the Players Club, folks, check it out. We're having a great time. Yeah. I also want to thank my 2 beautiful daughters, Faith, who is here, and Irena online. I love you. Stand up. She hates it. She totally hates it. Don't make her stand up. She hates it. My good right, my Chicago thing broke. Okay, my good right eye in all things directorial, Ms. Lena Kutrakis. Where are you, Lena? I don't know where you're. There she is. Thank you. And listen, it's Christmas. I know, it's soon to be Christmas. I can help. I got a CD and a book. A live performance CD, and this book co-written by my sister from another Mr., Sue Matsuki. If you want one, Dylan will be happy to help you outside. And now we are to this delicious band. Dan Gross on drums. There you go. Jonathan Michelle on bass. And the man who not only holds us all together, he takes my crazy ideas like Life Is and Roxy and My Own Space and My Best Friends and makes them a reality, Mr. Mark Hartman. I'd like to leave you tonight with what I consider to be John Kander and Fred Ebb's most prophetic song. The older I get, the more these lyrics ring true. Give 'em the old razzle dazzle, razzle dazzle 'em. Give 'em a show that's so splendiferous. Row after row will grow vociferous. Give 'em the old flim-flam flummox, fool and fracture 'em. How can they hear the truth above the roar? Throw 'em a fake and a finagle. They'll never know you're just a bagel. Razzle dazzle 'em, and they'll beg you for more. Fred Ebb told me that in 1975, Chicago came off more like a pastiche, a comment on the legal system, and in fact, it was written in response to Watergate. But, he said, in 1996, and certainly today, it's a documentary. Whatever sensational headline is grabbing our attention, well, the audience walks in with that and puts it right up on stage. Whether it was the double murder trial of O.J. Simpson when we opened, right? The German au pair who claimed her innocence all the way to her conviction, the death of Princess Diana chased by the paparazzi, or even more recently, our current strife with political discourse and fake news, right? Chicago asks us to turn inward, to see what we've become, and maybe more importantly, where we might be going. It seems clear that no matter where we're going, Chicago will remain relevant. And that's good. Isn't it grand? Isn't it great? Isn't it swell? Isn't it fun? Isn't it nowadays? There's men everywhere, jazz everywhere, booze everywhere, life everywhere, joy everywhere nowadays. You can like the life you're living. You can live the life you like. You can even marry Harry and mess around with Ike. But that's good. Isn't it grand? Isn't it great? Isn't it swell? Isn't it fun? Isn't it? But nothing stays. In 50 years or so, it's gonna change, you know. But oh, it's heaven nowadays. Good night, everyone. Thank you so much. Thank you all so much. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. Well, as they say in the show, here's one more parting shot. And this one from the movie. While trucking down the road of life, when every hope seems gone, I just move on. I move on. When I can't find a single star to hang my wish upon, I just move on, I move on. I run so fast, a shotgun blast can't hurt me not one bit. I'm on my toes, 'cause heaven knows a moving target's hard to hit. So as I play in life's ballet, I'm not the dying swan, I just move on, I move on. Just when it seems I'm out of dreams and life has got me down, I don't despair, I don't go there, I hang my bonnet out of town. So there's no doubt I'm well cut out to run life's marathon, 'cause I move on, I just move on. So fleet of foot, I can't stay put, I just move on. And all that jazz, that jazz. Good night, everybody.